Are the royal family the key to keeping the special relationship between the UK and the US, keeping it special?
President-elect Trump certainly seems so. He's a fan of Prince William. They met in Paris at the weekend. Well, are the royals the secret for success in maintaining our relations with America? The Daily Mail's Robert Hardman believes so. He is the author of King Charles III, The Inside Story, but political activist Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu argues Trump only cares about the glitter and the grandeur that is associated with the royals. So welcome to you both. Robert, you were, I'm not sure if you were in the room, but you were certainly there when the Queen met President Trump. How genuine do you think that relationship was? Trump says they had a very special relationship, but there are rumours that the Queen thought he was rude.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone loves to try and guess what the Queen thought about, late Queen thought about everything, and she was very good at playing her cards to her chest. But, I mean, what we know is that she and the royal family have been sort of central to the kind of transatlantic relationship, really, for all my lifetime. I mean, going back to before the Second World War. But she met 14 US presidents. That's more than anybody in history, including anyone in America, has met. And it's the same with the younger members of the family. We live in the age of soft power. I mean, when I was writing my biography of the Queen, I interviewed the man who invented soft power, a great Harvard professor, Joe Nye, and he said, in Britain you have two great soft power assets that nobody else in the world does. One is the English language, the other is the monarchy. Everybody loves them. You're incredibly lucky to have them.
You seem to have skirted my question. What did the Queen actually think?
The Queen actually, we'll never really know, but we can extrapolate from the fact that their first meeting was meant to last 20 minutes. It lasted over 40 minutes, and what I gathered afterwards is they hit it off because they had two things in common. Everyone was going, what can they possibly talk about? They both had Scottish mothers, and they both owned quite a large chunk of Scotland. So there was a lot of Scottish chat, and that was in 2018. A whole year, just a year later, Trump came back again for a state visit. He was the last state visitor of her reign because he came over, he went to Buckingham Palace, he brought the whole family, he had the welcome on the lawn, I remember that, his helicopters ruined the grass, the gardener at the palace was furious, and then there was the whole state banquet that evening, and he brought the whole family. So, you know, that the Trump royal rapport is a real thing.
We know that the current government has a lot of baggage, which they brought with them from opposition. They were incredibly rude about Trump. So many of the leading Labour figures, government figures, were incredibly rude about him. Do you think William went with a specific brief on Friday?
Oh, gosh, yes. I mean, you know, that meeting, for a start, that meeting was at the British Embassy. You don't normally get an American leader or a leader-elect coming to the British Embassy. Normally you go to them. So that was key. But, yeah, he was on... he will have been fully briefed by the Foreign Office. That's the way these things work. When these meetings happen, the royal family aren't doing it because they just feel like having a chat. They're at the behest of the elected government.
Can we discuss facts now, please? Look, the reality here is that the only relationship that the royal family is keeping is not the special relationship that flourished between two nations in the 60s, 70s and 80s. It is a relationship with a narcissistic egomaniac who is predictably unpredictable, who acts in bad faith, and who just happens to be a convicted rapist and fraud. OK? So as far as I'm concerned, what we can see, and let's just be honest, that all the royal family brings to the table is glitter, there is no gold. What they bring to the table is pomp and circumstance, there is no substance. Trump panders to this superficiality and the cloak of respectability that the royal family gives him. But the royal family is not going to be able to sway Trump on any of his decisions. The reality here is that Putin and Kim Jong-un have more chance of swaying Trump on his decisions because he fears and admires them. That's not the same kind of relationship that he has with the royal family.
Except that he may not fear the royal family. That is definitely a point of agreement. But he definitely admires them. Okay. I mean, in his election campaign, he was showing a journalist a royal album of photographs of him with our late Queen.
That is what you get from very shallow-minded people that put the royal family on a pedestal.
No, but we are a whole country which puts the royal family on a pedestal.
I understand. So that's a whole different discussion. I think the reality here is that if there's ever a conflict between what Trump wants and what the UK wants, the only person changing their position would be the UK, not Donald Trump.
Well, that's the case.
And I think that it's shameful that the royal family is now, like all of these other European leaders, going to be kowtowing and groveling at the feet of the first convicted, felon who has been democratically elected.
She's got a point, hasn't she?
Elected as American president.
She's got a point.
And as far as I'm concerned, what the royal family has to do is this. We can't ignore Trump because he's a democratically elected president. But what we must have is leadership, moral leadership, that shows that they have the balls. And they lack the balls. They need a set of ovaries here in order to be able to navigate what is clearly going to be a very difficult relationship with a man who is bad-tempered, acts in bad faith, who's a racist, and all of these other things that people already knew, yet they already, they elected him. But I don't think the royal family would do that, because the only thing the royal family has ever achieved is its own survival.
And at that point, we have to leave it, I'm afraid. I was going to say that America does always do what America wants in the end, but we're out of time, I'm afraid. Thank you both very much indeed.